I'm a therapist who goes to therapy, and some people think that's strange. The thing is, though, therapists are human beings just
or to be a fiduciary over that estate, or not estate, that trust.
Can it be limited to? Can it be limited to, like, say, for instance, you were helping somebody else, and could you limit a Form 56 on one
Why
trust?
can't they do it?
Incompetent.
It's just a signature. It's just a signature. You fill out the form for them and have them sign it.
I see. Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. All right.
Let them take the responsibility onto themselves.
All right.
Okay? If they want something, they better step up to the plate. I don't care how old they are. I'm going to kick my mom in the butt. Sonny learns this stuff.
I hear that.
But I got to her, I've got to go out and get the proof for her first. Well, I've got the forms and everything that I filled out. I've got everything pertinent lined out of what I sent. The only thing I'm waiting on now is a copy of the check coming back. As soon as I get that, I will post those on to the site saying, here is the validation. Now, what the hell is your damn holdup of going out and doing what I told you to do last week?
Mhm. Well, I think a lot of it's just taboo. People have got a lot of taboo about not being friends with the IRS, and so they've been offset to do anything.
Because of all the patriot bullshit that has gone around and all these gurus that have gone around out here working for the other side saying that they're the bad guy, they're the bad guy. People don't even know what the dollar bill says. In God we trust.
Yeah.
What does that really say? Well, it really says, in your soul's name, we have created a trust for you. And then you go over to the Great Pyramid, the all-seeing eye. Oh, that's nothing evil. That is really you looking at yourself. As soon as you understand that that is your capstone, you can acquire your capstone, because the capstone of the Great Pyramid was solid gold, and basically when Moses and the Hebrews left town, they took it with them. That gold belonged to them. The capstone on that dollar belongs to us.
Because you're on that particular subject matter, do you feel that a person in any country around the world that is associated with the IMF has the same opportunities that we have with doing this kind of paperwork?
Yes.
So anybody like Australia, anybody in Europe, they have the abilities to be able to file papers that are similar in nature with the IRS or the IMF over in their countries. They have the abilities to tap into these type of accounts that have been set up in their name.
Yep.
Okay, so in other words, what you're saying, instead of fighting the system, is that we should join it and actually benefit from it.
Well, we should learn what the system is. We don't have to join it. We could come out of the system that is sitting there. But we have to understand the system before we can come out of the system and then protect ourselves once we do come out.
Okay.
So you have to put a little time and effort into understanding how the system operates. And then, yeah, we can come out of the system. We don't have to operate with their system. We'll operate with the real money instead of the fraudulent wagering money system.
Did you happen
So I just had some quick thoughts. My mind was just racing as this guy was saying that we already have pretty much access something that bypasses gold and silver. So that's why I wrote that there, is that this bypasses gold and silver, Bitcoin, stocks and bonds, everything. Everything that's of value that the corporation has held in trust for us, right? So everything that you can think, if it's $1 trillion, right? The corporation is holding that in trust for us. Oh, yes, go ahead. Someone has their hands raised.
Yeah, so I was wanting to know if you could explain what he was saying about the capstone and Moses, and did you understand what he was saying? That you could expound on it?
Oh yeah, that's another great point too. I'm glad you brought that out.
Mhm.
Absolutely, because this is important for us to see how the system was taken and ran through the Hebrews. The Hebrews are the people who spoke the original language of the earth. So that would go into why you would see in Egypt there would be a big issue with Hebrews versus the Egyptians. So that's absolutely important that we see on the archaeological evidence level, because I actually have I study history, but a lot of the history leads into the Bible. So I understand why that can kind of bring into religion, but I would say on that level, yes, the answer is yes. There was absolutely gold everywhere in Egypt. They actually say is the streets were paved by gold. That when the people walked on the streets, there were gold. So I can almost assume and say that the capstone of the pyramid likely had gold bricks around it. More than likely, there was gold all over that top capstone. So I think this guy is on to something really great right now. I hope that answers the question with the gold and the capstone as well.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
Has anybody else had any thoughts on what's been said so far based upon this video or Fiduciary? Feel free to chime in if you choose.
Wallace, you said we can find the videos on YouTube. On the one end, we can find the video, please.
Yes, we've sent the link to you just to avoid that of not knowing the right place. So if you scroll up in the chat, meeting chat, and we'll actually put it in there again. Let me go ahead and copy it
All
and
right.
put it right here
Thank,
one more time. So let's
all
put
right.
it right.
Thank you. Thank
No
you.
problem. No problem. All right, so let's go ahead and continue.
Put any in the documents you sent? Do you have any templates for people to simply create a living trust?
They're on the site. They're in that 600 legal document form.
Okay, all right, just checking because, like I says, I've been a little sick last week, and
Now, they're real simple to do.
okay,
I've told people that numerous times over. Just go in there and look at it. It's your document. You fill it out however you want.
mm-hmm.
And but you have to do a living trust, and then you do 2 copies of it. I put down 3 signatures, my tribunal, my birth name, Patrick, my right-hand person, Patrick Devine, and then my beneficial owner of the trust, Patrick Devine again. That's my tribunal, my 3 persons in one. And then I turn around and I put down my seal on there, which is my right thumbprint. I make 2 copies of that. I send 1 copy registered mail back to me and unopen the envelope. Put that in a safe place.
Wow, this is right on. This guy's right on, man. He's saying that he's using his right thumbprint. So this is similar to a process that we do with our revocable trust too, is that we want to make sure that you seal that document. So he's right on when he's saying that right thumbprint and how you have that executed on your trust. This is executing your trust of the living. So you're actually having a living trust, right? They say a living revocable trust. We like to say revocable in the middle of that because the revocable is allowing you to have power and you're able to change that trust. So it's very important for us to be able to explain that and see what he's. Anybody have any thoughts of what he was saying about the red thumbprint or not the red? I'm sorry, he didn't say red, but he did say the thumbprint that was on the document. Does anybody have any thoughts to the thumbprint?
And then the other one I will have out at my disposal if I want to, if I feel that I need to show anybody, which I really don't have to because I'm going to make up another document called a notice of trust, and that will just have the beneficiary's name and the EIN number assigned to that bank when you set up a bank account.
I see. Okay. In regards to the EIN number, is that going to be a separate number other than the Social Security number?
Be an all-new number. Yes.
Okay. And then what do you go for? What is it? They call it an SS4. Is that what you're going for, or is it CAP? When you file a CAP, do they issue you a brand new number?
You can you should go and get it with an SS4, and I think I posted the number on the group.
Okay.
To call the number up to get the 98 series number or whatever number they want to give you.
I see. Okay.
Tell them you're setting it up for a non-withholding foreign grantor trust. And then that.
Right. So this is important. So he's going into a foreign grantor trust. Right. So this is exactly a different thing when you're dealing with an EIN. So this is an exact example of what is different from the revocable EIN. So that will be a foreign trust, but you also have your domestic trust. Right. So specifically what he's speaking on is a bank account that'll be in the EIN of a foreign grantor trust. And that'll be an offshore account. They call those offshore accounts, or, basically a person that's foreign that's coming into the United States to do business. So does anyone have any processes that have been put out there about the 9-8? This is probably where this would have been able to go the most solid way of going if you're going to deal with a 9-8, is that you would do a 9-8 number based upon your revocable trust, we would say. So if anybody have any 9-8 experiences, you can do that next if you're going to deal with an offshore account. So let's see what he's going to say more on this right here.
Way it will be tax exempt. You shouldn't be paying any taxes anyway out of this because you're going to be using real money. And if you're using real money, it's non-taxable. The only thing that has to pay taxes is this wagering money system.
So it actually is kind of, because it's pure credit, it's untaxable, and it's also principal, isn't it?
Let me show you how we do stuff around here. Actually,
All right, so this is great. Just as we go into this, anybody have any experiences that you would like to share? I'm going to go into my experience that I'll share. When I started off in the situation, I actually got into a 9-8 number, and the 9-8 number was a series that you would get over the phone. And when you would get this number over the phone, they would basically tell you that they're asking you what country are you in, right? So we were taught and told to say you're in a non-Hague country. So some people would say, I want to have the country Jamaica, or I'm going to have another country in South America somewhere, or you have a country over in Europe, anything that is of the non-Hague. So this would be the place where most people would say the 9-8 number would go into a non-Hague country. If you don't know what Hague is, you will have to deal with this when you look on the passport website, which is the USA passport website. They go into the non-Hague or the Hague. But we're almost finished with this. This will be done in just a few. Just wanted to get through all this information and just give you all just basic notes as we go.
Think of it as real money. Don't throw those other things in there. You'll confuse the hell out of yourself.
Yeah. Okay, I've got one an additional. What is the current website that you're posting the documents, so I can actually put that over at Law Learners for everybody to be able to have that as a backup access?
I'll send it over to you on Skype.
Okay, good. All right. Let's see. Is there anything else you want to say? Otherwise, I'll complete this.
No, that should be about it. Just listen to those last audios that I just posted up there, and then go in and open up the document, learning the ABCs, which we were told to do when we were growing up. It does not have to do with the alphabet. It has to do with the 10 1099A, the 1099B, and the 1099C.
Okay.
It's that simple.
All right.
And then after you learn that, the 1040 form and the 1041 form both say tax return. They don't say tax payment form. They say tax return form. We've been told all along everything is taxes out here. Well, all transactions are basically classified as taxes. So for us to move our money around, it's called a tax. We're taxing it from one place to the other.
I see.
Or taking a taxi cab.
It's kind of like the tax stamps that they used to have. It used to be kind of like a mail system where it actually moves something from one place to another.
Yep, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Just one last little quick question. Did you, in regards to being able to do a 1099-C, did you do a template that's properly filled out with a 3949A so people can view that in order to cancel mortgage debt?
I talked about it on the group. I had one, I think I posted. I have since, over the last, I posted that about a week and a half ago, and from what you listen on the audio, it's going to be a little different than what appears on the templates that I have up there on the site right now for both the 1099A, the 1099B, and the 1099C. I probably should just go in and pull those templates down right now.
Okay,
So it
well,
doesn't confuse anybody.
yeah, and I'll go ahead and post that. It's going to take probably 24 hours to get this all posted over at Law Learners, but you can also refer to people that we're going to post that over there if they can't get into the. Are you still maintaining a Yahoo group there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's we the people, or shareholders.
It's We the People? You're going to send that to me, right?
Or shareholders.
We the People, shareholders.
I'll send you the link here in just a second.
Okay. So one last question, I'll let you go. When you do a 1099-C, and you've got your Form 56, you got the 1099-C, you've got your 3949A. Do you add in the 1099A to name it as abandoned, that it needs to be returned? Do you put all that in one package?
No. See, you send one 1096 with the 1099Cs. You send another 1096 with the 1099As. Probably could throw them all in the same envelope if you want to, but you've got to do a separate 1096 for each different form.
I see. And where does this go when you're dealing with concluding debt, mortgage debt? What was the most likely? Ogden?
Well, no, wherever the 1096 says to send it to.
Oh. All right.
I think there's only about two places that those things get sent to. There's Kansas City and, well, you'll have to look. I think it's, I forget what it says on the other form. I know mine's Kansas City.
All right. Cool. All right, my friend. I think that'll be a wrap. And yeah, so if you if you get lined up to go on a show, let me know so I can post that over at Law Learns for people to be abreast of it. They automatically get whatever I post over there. They automatically get it immediately. It goes right to their email boxes. So they're within probably 12 hours if you can give me a heads up. Either that or just take a recording of whatever you got and send it to me and I can post it over there.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I tried to send over to you, I think.
All right, so we're going to conclude the video right there. Thank you all for just holding out and taking the time to hear what this video was going to share with us and tell us about. If you want to get that link is available in the chat. Once again, that link is available in the chat. You can look at that video again. We use that as just like a cursor. Unfortunately, this was a very long time ago. I would say close to about maybe 10, 15 years ago, probably more. So this is outdated information, some of it. But the ideas and the foundations of where he's going is absolute. It actually can get you enhanced to understand and know that this is what works. This is how you have to be to the point where you're understanding that the tax forms should be primary. Like this is our primary focus every single day. Like no matter what, once you get past the taxes, then you can get into the banking. The banking is going to be a little difficult because sometimes we don't take to hold our bank as being a business. So I'll be able to speak and talk about that a little bit today um, as well. But I wanted to go right into the information we had on our announcement. I was going into how your name is absolutely worth more than silver and gold. And we went into a few of those aspects earlier today. As you even heard the guy, I didn't even know he was going to say that, but it says, learn today how your name is worth more than silver, gold, cash, and even credit. Learn how much on a basic entry level it will cost to create a private, non-commercial trust. So I'll speak on that today to show why it's a private, non-commercial trust and that you want to pay for that. So it says that you should pay for something such as um, this type of trust if you were to buy one, right? Because they're going to tell you in a few in the United States that it costs a certain amount of money to do a trust. If you were to do it yourself, if you had an attorney to do it, they would probably have you pay up to amount that could be starting at around 2,500. So we see in the post that it says, how much does it cost to set up a trust in the US? Let me see if I can pull that on the screen for you all. That should allow me. So what I have in my screen, it says that it costs, it's starting at $1,500. Says it starts at about 1,500 and it can go up to about 2,500.
We don't see your screen.
Oh, it's coming up in just a few.
Okay.
Here we go, right here. How much does it cost to set up a trust in the US? If you hire an attorney to build your trust, you'll likely pay the average cost of setting up a trust, which in the range of 1,500 to 2,500. So they're saying if you hire an attorney, this is how much it'll start off, and this is how much it'll likely cost for a basic trust. Then they're going into the overall cost. The overall cost would depend on whether you are single or married, right? See, yeah, it's going to go into layers and variables. If you're single or married, how complex the trust needs to be, and what state you and your assets are in. That's right. So if you have different houses, you may have real estate in multiple states, right? Well, you're going to have a trust that manages all the real estate in multiple states. You have businesses, you have to have a trust that'll manage your businesses. This is where this is coming in. So the layer to a cost of this is where we're going to see the, the value. I was wanted to go use that on, what is it at? Is smartasset.com. Smartasset.com is where we got this source from. So does anybody have any thoughts to this of like if you were to use an attorney, right? This is the most simple way to see this if you had to use an attorney. But in our aspect, we want you to actually DIY to do this yourself. Because if you DIY it, you do it yourself, not only will this cut costs, this will also keep most of the power, most of the information in your hand. So we encourage everybody that comes to these calls to actually DIY it. Now, if you still feel uncomfortable and you still want maybe an attorney, right? There's no problem. We can also show you how you can still use the attorney, but you'll also have a template. So you have your template, but your attorney will help you fill out your template. So that's the answer for the cost of what it said earlier, as we spoke about. Let me look up on the announcements. It talked about how to set up a trust. So the next thing it says you'll be able to do this all without the United States. Okay, so that X's out the attorney. So that's not going to work. Sorry for that. Because you're going to have to do this all without the United States of America. Because if you get to this point, once you have to do this without the United States, this will go to the variable that we have in place for executing the trust as well, for using the revocable trust that we have as place as a template. You want to be able to do this without the United States. When an
Which
attorney, yeah, go
which
ahead.
trust is this? I'm sorry. Which trust is this one?
The revocable trust, right?
The re, the
Yes,
revocable trust.
correct.
And
Yeah.
when you say without, you just mean without the United States, not the United States of America, Republic, right?
Well, we mean without the United States of America Incorporated, right? Any of corporation of any term of corporate factor.
Okay.
The reason why we have to say we have to do it without, the reason why we even started by saying non-commercial trust, right? We had to make sure we knew that everybody's trust, once you execute this trust, it has to be a non-commercial trust. Next, you get to the non-corporate, which will mean without the United States corporation. That would X out the attorneys. So I said apologies earlier for saying that if you didn't feel confident enough that you would possibly be able to get an attorney to walk you through your template. The answer would probably go to the point where the attorney will probably not be able to do it for you, at least on the record, because they're with the United States. In some format, an attorney has to have some type of with the United States aspect. Um, Not unless they actually retired from attorneyship or they're just doing it privately for themselves, they can do it themselves as well. So I gave the answer for the attorneys. Once you get to without United States, you're going to do this all without United States of America to begin building of your legacy outside of corporate governance and mindsets. This is a hard one because the mindsets and the governance are most of the time they're with, what we call um, incorporations. So you will be able to do this without the incorporations, such as LLCs. Let's go there for that one. That's the first one, LLCs. Another one is an incorporation, INC. That's what we went over earlier, INC. The other one that you'll have is the what are those? The nonprofit organizations, the 501c3s, 501c3. You want to be able to operate without having the 501c3. All right, so those are the three that are on the list that most of the time when we start our businesses, we're told that these are the ways to start your business, right? We're told that you have to have the LLC, you have to have the nonprofit organization, 501c3. And the third one I think they tell you is to incorporate, right? You have to incorporate. Any comments or questions on this part? Because this is important to see why when you're in a revocable trust realm, it looks similar to a corporation, but it's not actually running as a corporation. Okay, so let's keep moving forward on that. So once you get to the point your trust is revocable, right? A living revocable trust. Once you interface with the government again, which is the United States, you're going to be able to go and interface through the IRS. So the IRS is their gatekeeper. Like that's the gatekeeper to the system. There's no way around the IRS. Once you interface with that, you're going to have a revocable EIN, right? Once you get just a revocable EIN, like even what the guy said, he said a 9.8. You can have a 9.8 EIN as well, whatever one that you already had. You can have an irrevocable EIN, right? It could be an irrevocable trust. This is your interface. This is meaning that you're in a private trust. Once you enter back into the system, which we call the government, you want to make sure all your assets, all of your operations are through those numbers, right? Once that's done, that is how it looks. Once you have the social security card or the social security number, this is where you're accessing your bank, right? We talked about this with series of calls. If you first hearing this for the first time, maybe some people probably new to this, but the first thing we help you do is activate your bank. So we stay on taxes for a while because taxes are foundational to all this information. We move immediately to banking. So the first thing to a bank is to open your bank. Then once you open your bank, you become a banker. And then as you're learning how to be a banker, which is a private banker, you're also lastly learning how to be a private broker, a private broker. So the bank, the banker, and the broker are parts of the bank, which we call the what do we call those again? The the segments or the segments of the bank for you. So once we get out of the bank, we're able to move forward to the credit. So I put credit on the third tier because we think that credit is first. Credit is not first. Credit is last, almost on that list when it deals with funding. Because once your banking is in place, then your credit is going to come a lot easier. And that's what I've worked out and what I'm working on right now. And in my testimony, I'll give a testimonial that I'm working on a 300 I think it's a 350K deal right now. I'm working on a 350K deal. On Monday, I'm supposed to visit the broker for the real estate company. But she assured me to say, hey, I just want to make sure you were pre-qualified. And I want to make sure that, you've already went to your bank and you got pre-qualified. She kept saying it. It was almost like, why do I have to get pre-qualified? She doesn't know what I'm going to use, right? But it seemed like it was a line that she was taught to use in real estate. This is her brain. It's like, hey, this is how it works in the corporate side. Mostly everyone who calls for a house, they already are pre-qualified. And then we ask them what bank they have. Well, I said, well, yeah, I have First Commerce. That's my bank, First Commerce Credit Union. They said, oh, great. Yeah, they help us. They do a lot of deals all the time. I'm like, okay, cool. That's great. But my deal actually is on the business side. And she basically paused for a second because she didn't understand what I was talking about. She was like, "Oh, you're talking about this," and I'm like, "No, no, that's not actually there." And she kept mentioning, "Oh, it's cash deal, a cash deal." I'm like, "Okay, okay, it's a cash deal if that's the way they see it." But to me, she just couldn't understand why I was actually being qualified to buy the house, but not on the personal side, but on the business side. All right, so this is something that you all have to start thinking about as you get into this knowledge of this information real time. Tomorrow's Monday, right? You're going to have to apply a lot of this information and see how it works. This is one of many things. I'm on a third tier level right now, talking about buying real estate, right? Who talks about buying real estate with the trust? Not too many. We have to think about eventually getting to this point. Now, me, I've been practicing for this for about a couple of years. So I'm not saying I just jumped into it today. So just to kind of back that out and make sure I get background to it, I'm not asking anybody here today try to go and try to buy a house tomorrow because you just started your trust for the record. So what I brought in is that I have my bank relationship already with First Commerce. So if I've been on the bank for about 5+ years with my trust, and it shows that I got my bank account open as well in the trust and my social security number because they're going to get the social. So people who try to bypass the social, we've already overcame that a long time ago. So we're past that, not trying to give the bank your social. So once you have your social account set up, you're also going to set up your trust account. But the social account is the only way you can access the trust account, from my understanding, that they gave me at the bank. Because what they do, they're going to update your records in the bank. Even your social credit is actually going to change to the business side, as it happened to me. 'Cause I said, hey, is there anything showing up on my personal? And the banker was like, no. It's nothing shown on your personal, but do you want to get a credit card? And I'm like, no, I don't want to get a credit card for my personal right now. And I was like, yeah, it's good on my business side, right? He's like, yeah, but it's not anything showing up for you on your personal because you can't get any credit if you don't have anything on your personal. And I didn't understand why he kept trying to ask me to get stuff on my personal, but I was doing well on my business side because I actually have a credit card already on my business side. So the business side is the sole proprietor that we talked about for a while, that you should have a sole proprietor. So on my sole proprietor, I actually have a secured credit account. So I have a secured credit account that I have that pays all my bills, right? So if anything that I have as a bill, anything I have as gas, anything I have as the children, they want some smoothies, I go out, I use the secured, right? Grocery, secured, right? Anything that I can spend up to that limit, that's secured. That's how I've been living for the last 3 to 5 years. Actually, it's been like 5 years. I've been doing that about 5 years. Now, the reason I'm saying this and I'm talking about it this way because this is how it should look, right? If somebody is actually at a point where you're knowing the banking. So I got the bank, the banker. Now I'm moving to the broker side, right? The broker side is, hey, how do I get this money to be transferred from the treasury to my account? This is where it gets a little hard because a lot of us have to have the faith that you know this is going to work for you. Like, do you have the faith that if you do the 1099B correctly, you're moving your credits to the account? So that's the part that I had to understand in myself. So I've already practiced with this. I've done a few 1041s. I've communicated with the Treasury. I've owed the Treasury money. I've seen the Treasury pay stuff off for me. I've seen checks come in the mail. This is my experience and my testimonial up to this point. Mine was a little bit rougher than most people's, but hey, I've made it and I'm still able to communicate on this level with, my account. So with that being said, if I'm able to do it, everyone can do the same thing I'm doing. I don't even have as much as whatever amount. I think I don't even have up to a 5K credit line. I don't even have a 5K credit line. I'm living great. And I'll go into how all your bills should not be in just your name. You need to have other accounts that are being paid and you're not worrying about paying those accounts. So I hope this helps as I'm giving in my testimony as I segued into that a little bit. But I wanted to show you how it would look if you're doing this without the United States. This is how I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it without the United States. Next, we have learn how to update your businesses. Learn how to update your businesses. This is big because if you already have businesses or you're already looking to start a business, you have to learn how to make your trust the operator of your businesses now. You have to learn how to make your trust the operator of your businesses. Because in order for your businesses to have a fiduciary that's keeping the funding coming in, the trust has to be one of the owners. That's right. So you have to update your business by making your trust one of the owners. Now, we do this in our banking strategy courses on level 2 and level 3, but we got to get people on level 1. Level 1 is the first step. Get your bank open, get your sole proprietor card. We can't prove you have your sole proprietor card. You're not ready for the banking. This is how we get you to the level of banking once you have those cards. One second. All right. So once you're at that level two is going to be where you have secure accounts. You've created some type of secured account. And then you gotta keep trying, gotta go to as many banks as you possibly can go to try to get this done or to get it done. Me, I started off at a credit union. It started off at a credit union. That may be the first step. Build a relationship with a credit union, get your sole accounts, and move one of your sole. Once you get your sole account, get a secured credit card in your sole account as well. Once you update to the level 3, you have a sole credit account for your trust. I'm sorry, not a sole credit. You have a secured credit account for your trust. That's what I did as well. I have a secured credit account for the trust as well. And I'll show you how you can get a credit card the same way through the same bank. You're just going to apply and you'll be able to get a secured credit card through the same bank as well. So there's no way around, not being able to use the trust because the trust can work in multiple layers. You can work it with the bank. That's number one, right? The next one I'll go into is how you can get into the internet. But I'm not going to go into the internet yet until I explain the rest of the way that your businesses are operating, because you have to be able to operate your businesses some way. And this is how you're able to operate. And you want to fund them through your trust. So that's the answer I gave for those who have existing businesses, or if you're going to create brand new businesses, it doesn't matter what you're going to do, such as an art, a craft, a skill, or a trade. An art, a craft, a skill, or a trade. These are the things that you got to make money off. Figure out a way that you can make money off your art. Figure out a way you can make money off your skill, whatever your skill is. Right? Write it down on a piece of paper. All your skills. You got your trade. What is your trade? You may have one. You may have not went to vocational. Maybe you learned it from grandma, learned it from family. You have a trade. You picked up. Arts and the crafts. That's the last one is your crafts. Crafty. You're able to, you know, build something. Some people are good with building furniture. They're good with creating art, whatever it is, with a chair or a swing, whatever these things are. They're crafty. Flowers, like my wife, she creates flower pins. She's crafty. She can create, I don't know how they do that. Something out of nothing, right? These are your ways that you can generate funds when you fill out your account. So don't make it up when you're getting a bank account. Make sure you have something that you actually know you can do. So the bank doesn't think that you're making it up. And then they deny you. So we got to make sure when you talk to the bank, say you do this in person, make it a business. Make it real social, right? Make it very social so that you can feel that you're getting what you came there for. You came there to get your funding. You came there to get your money, right? The bank. This is your first stop. I'm not going to go and get a loan from Quicken Loans. I don't know Quicken Loans. Who is this? I'm finding out Quicken Loans, they get their money from another bank. Look at that. Okay, so Quicken Loans gets their money from another bank. So don't go to the fast payday loans, fast payday, $500 real quick. Don't go to those places. Have a good relationship with your bank. You got to have where all your credit cards are coming from your bank as well. So I hope I'm coming in and giving the information as best as I can as possible. So we skipped past credit. I wanted to definitely bypass credit because a lot of people are stuck on getting your credit scores, right? Getting your FICO score. Yeah, making sure you have an 850 credit. And I'm telling you, I just bypassed that just in the illustration I just gave with the trust. So you do not need a credit score. You do not need a credit score to do a lot of this information in these processes. You will notice as you do this, your credit score will rise. Things will start to fall off of your credit report, and your credit score will begin to rise. All right, so I'm just giving these informations. We skipped past, we went from taxes, went to banking, went to credit, and now I'm into the real estate. And that is dealing with your businesses. And you're going to be able to deal with your businesses to operate without silver, gold, cash, and even credit. silver, gold, cash, and even credit given by world corporations. There you go. There's your clause. There's your condition. The clause and condition is all the silver, all the gold, all the cash, and even credit that was given by the world corporations. And this is how you're going to have to learn how to play that role. You're the fiduciary, you're the lender. How are you the borrower if you're the lender? The borrower is slave to the lender. That's what the Bible says, I believe, somewhere. You know, why are you the borrower? They have your name in the wrong location. Hmm. So we got to begin to update ourselves in the system as best as possible. You know, it's hard. I don't use my name on my trust on purpose because I will get too caught up on it being me. Now, some of us have confidence to put our name as the revocable trust, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're not here to say that it can't work, but it will be a little bit difficult to separate ourselves, you know, if you see the same name. So we tell people to choose a new name. Choose a new name and make that new name your revocable trust and begin to place a lot of your assets into that trust. Place your trust in your trust, right? Who trusts your trust better than you? You know, nobody, it's not going to work itself. You got to work the trust. So when we get this information, we get these documents, we get these EINs, we get this bank and all this stuff. It's a lot of stuff. I'm telling you, it's endless. You be working on your trust all the time. All the time. You'll be working on this trust. So that's the real estate. The real estate is really an interesting part because I don't know why everyone's trying to get a big time credit score. See, the real estate lady I'm going to go meet tomorrow, she's going to be astonished that I am not going to be using her mortgage financer, right? Because if I use their financing company, their financier, then they have the power. They have the fiduciary power. So I'm not going to use their financier. That's right. I'm using my own financier. This is how you have to play this role, y'all. You have to play this role. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just not, you're not taking in the outside money. Keep it all inside. What's another example of this? Don't go to the car company at the dealership and fill out that application. That's right. You don't need to fill out no application. What are you applying for? Am I making sense, anyone? Don't go to the car company and fill out no application. Use the trust. You see, when you fill out the application, you got to be the guarantor. We had a video that talked about how you're the guarantee. You're given a guaranteed offer. They want you to be the guarantor. Oh, I'm sorry, they want you to be the guarantor. What's another example? You don't want to go to another credit card company and apply like the AE. You know who the AE is? American Express. All right, so don't apply for American Express because they're going to get you on the personal side. We talked about that on the call too. And I know that sounds crazy, but yeah, it says business on it and everything. That's right, business. But they are hitting you on the personal side because they're placing us as the guarantor again. They're making you use the social. See, I don't know them like that. Why do I want them all in my social unless it's my bank? You see, I have a great relationship with my bank. So all my credit comes through my bank and I create my credit. But if I go to someone else's credit, they're creating, and they're able to claim that credit. So what we have to do, we have to convert the credit into secured credit. That's the only way that you can get out of that. Even if it's unsecured credit, you want to cash it out and you want to turn that cash into secured credit. That's the only way out of that. Let's say you already have the account. Someone may say, well, I already have the account, I'm already using the credit card. That's fine. Make it work for you. Change it over to the trust account. See if you can get it out your name and put it into the name of the trust. See if you can get it out the LLCs or the incorporations and put it in the name of the trust. They call it acquisitions. It happens all the time. Make your trust acquire the assets. That's the level that we want everyone to get on when you start to operate through the revocable trust, because it is a lot of work to work on every day. Every single week, I'm always having to work on something new, and I'm still just not breaking the ice. So I hope this helped for everybody that's going through this information and knowledge. I did go through all the notes. Learn how to update your business to operate without silver, gold, cash, and even credit. That was given by world corporations and companies. That's a mouthful right there. So I'm speaking in all respects. I'm speaking of, they call it unsecured credit. Unsecured. That's what they call it. You can look it up, and I'll probably give some examples on the screen where I talk about unsecured credit. Let me see, unsecured. There we go. All right, so that's what I'm going to go into. I'm going to show you all how you can start backing your credit by collateral. So this is what they call unsecured credit on the screen. You see the word unsecured credit. This is what it looks like, and this is what most of the people they try to get you to get once you get out there. Like Discover, it's another one. Like, where's Discover? Like, why don't I just have a regular bank account with Discover? Why is it just a credit card? These are the questions we should ask. Like, this is why you want to have your sole bank account. Unsecured credit refers to credit that is not backed by collateral. That's what it tells you. It is not backed by collateral. It includes unsecured credit cards, which do not require a security deposit, loans that are issued solely based on credit worthiness. There you go. And because everyone's so caught up on credit, my credit score. Okay. This is how they are breaking it down. You read it on the articles that make perfect sense when you read through them. They will tell you exactly what they're talking about when they talk about credit worthiness, and they're talking about you. So they're going to be using your credit. They're now the fiduciary. Okay. Now they're your fiduciary because you're now coming in to explain to them how you're credit worthy. I'm now credit worthy. This is what that means, because if you are now credit worthy, they determine your credit worthiness. Look at that. How should I get an unsecured credit card? An unsecured credit card does not require a deposit for collateral. Your credit limit is based on credit worthiness. So you don't have to put any deposit down upon opening. Unsecured credit cards typically have more lucrative rewards and fewer fees to deal with compared to secured credit cards. However, unsecured credit cards are generally harder to qualify for than secured credit cards. Interesting, they tell you the answer. Because they may require stronger credit scores than secured cards do. Interesting. So the answer was their comparison and alternative is secured. So I wouldn't get a debit card. So it said if you're looking for credit, but you're not sure that an unsecured credit card is right for you, these are some alternatives that you should consider. A debit card. So the first one they give you is a debit card. The second one is a secured credit card. right? This is the one that we skip over a lot. But you want to have that. But this is on the personal side. They're explaining get a secured credit card on your personal credit. So we don't tell you to do a secured personal credit card. We want you to do a sole proprietor business secured card. Don't do a personal loan either. That's going to make you the borrower again. The slave, what does it say? The borrower is slave to the lender. A borrower is slave to the lender. Short-term loan, same thing. Peer-to-peer lending. That's probably the most purest one. You peer-to-peer. Somebody's giving you funds and, it's a loan, I'll pay you back. That's private. But, we're not going to get into that too much. I just wanted to show you all that I wasn't making up secured, unsecured. That is a known thing that everyone understands already. But this is the one that everyone gets caught up on about your credit score. So if you all caught up on the credit score, they got you in the rabbit hole of getting your score to 850. And you would never want to think about that if you're on the business side. So now let's get into the nitty gritty. I'm going to go into the best for last, and I thank you all for waiting in for this. So some may say, well, how are you going to get in contact with your line of credit? So let's go into that. Let's go to irs.gov for a second. Let me show you all where it shows. So if I were to go into a situation where I need to get my line of credit and I need to pay for something and I have the money for it, first thing I showed you all is the business, right? So you click on the business. Now the IRS goes into the business types. So we tell you all the answer that we wanted you to go as a business type. We wanted you to buy things with your sole proprietorship. We don't want you to buy things with the corporation. But if you do buy it or you already bought it, it's no problem. Just transfer it over to the sole prop. Same thing with the S corp. So if you bought it in the S corp or you have it already and it's there, transfer it over to the sole prop. Same with the LLC. So it's not a bad thing or wrong thing. We just want to get you in the habit of knowing that you want to give the ownership over to something that is there, which is the sole prop. Give credit where credit is due. Who is in charge of the LLC? That's the sole proprietor. So I know I'm making sense. So I just want you all to draw these lines if you have to show even the richest of the richest people. I'm not saying that I don't have a million cajillion dollars. I don't have that much money like that in cash flow or credit. But even if somebody has over $20 million, right? I'm talking to them. Even if you have over $20 million, you still have to do this yourself. I didn't say go get your attorney to do it for you. I said you have to do this, whoever that is. And if you can't do it, then that's when they have fiduciary power. The they, the them, whoever they are. So this is why we have to get into the knowing and the habit of knowing how to do this. Next, after you get into this, you click on sole proprietorship and look at they give you as the answers. They tell you to do a Schedule C. This is the answer also for your 1041. I'm going to prove that to you today. So I want you also think about the same thing, even if it's your trust. So in this situation, you're going to have a Schedule C. Click on that. And I want you to scroll in and see at the top right here, just for careful inspection. At the top, it says profit or loss from business for what? A sole proprietorship. So it's always a sole prop. No matter what, the sole is where all the funds are coming from. It's coming from you, your name. And I also wanted to show how the Schedule C is not just for the 1040, which we use to clear our debts on our expenses, or we do our W-2s, whatever it is, right? But it's also for the 1041. So this is where I show that you can live and operate on the 1041 side, because I'm doing it right now. And I know you can do it because I'm living this way. I'm living in everything that's on the 1041 side, including rent. That's right. So I made sure that I did the lowest, hardest level that most people would think is that, hey, I know I can't pay my rent in my trust, and yes, you can, because I'm doing it. No, I can't. Yes, you can. You can do anything. You can do anything in your trust. So that is that is an example of something that goes with that. Another thing, someone say, "Oh, I can't pay my utilities in my trust." Yes, you can. You can pay your utilities in your trust. Who said you can't do that in your trust? I'm doing it right now. Well, you can't do internet and your phone. What are you going to do about that? Well, I can also do that too. I can do the internet. I can also have the home phone with the internet. You choose your package, right? What about your cell phone? Ah, that's a good one. Well, guess what? They also have a business package for the cell phone. So I can use the trust also for the cell phone. That's right, a brand new, or I can just change my number to the existing phone, but it's in the business. So we're answering all questions that most people may have with your basic amenities. What's another one I'm missing right now? We got your utilities, we got your rent, we got your phone. What else you need? Anybody type it in the chat. Am I missing any other bills? I want to cover every bill that y'all are talking about.
Insurance.
Somebody said insurance. Somebody said mortgage is not a bill. That's the bank. You all are still thinking about, see, that's the bank. It's not a bill. That's your line of credit. And that's on the individual personal side. We got to find a way to acquire that with the 1041. So that would be the answer. Make sure that mortgage is given over to the 1041. That's the only way to pay it off then. Somebody will ask, what's an example of that? Well, the example is the mortgage company says, okay, so and so says they're going to pay the bill. Okay. Well, what's their name and their address? We can send the bill to them. That's how the mortgage company should communicate. Because somebody's about to pay the bill. What's the problem? Why wouldn't they want some other company to acquire the bill so they can get paid? This is how we work our mortgages. I know it sounds complicated because it's an individual account, but it's exactly that simple. We have examples of the mortgage. So anybody have thoughts to this mortgage? We want to help this hump. It's a very big hump right here when we get into the mortgages. Any other questions or thoughts to the mortgage? All right, so we got that one. So the next one, someone said insurance. That was the one he said insurance. Well, I've done it with insurance. Believe it, I forgot about that one actually. Are you talking about auto insurance or are you speaking of life insurance? What insurance are we speaking of? It's multiple insurances. Okay, hold that thought 1 second. Give me about 10 seconds. Okay, I'm back. All right, so we said, okay, the last thing we said was life insurance. Okay, so that is there a bill, right? So let's say, does the life insurance company send a bill every month? And do they have a coupon on the bottom of your bill? Anybody? Yes or no? Same with the okay, so if the life insurance sends a bill and it has a coupon on the bottom, they gave you the coupon so that you can pay the bill. Yes, you haven't paid the bill. That's right. So along with the Schedule C, we're also doing a operation that we always tell people is you're going to pay the bill through your coupon, and you're sending it back to them with filing your taxes, which is your B. So the 1041, the way we do it is only with the B. So once you do the B, that's going to put you in the income section, where the B is going to create a other income. So I think it's right here. So let's say my insurance is $6,000. Well, let's say for that month. I don't like to do it. I like to do the number times 12. So let's say it's the same amount every month. So let's say my insurance bill is like 1,200 times 12. That's how much is that, y'all? 114,400. 144,000 almost, right? Looks just almost like it. 14,400. So that's how I would calculate my insurance. That if I was focusing on just life, but life insurance is complicated. Depends on your situation with life insurance. Everyone's situation is different. Any other bills, anybody? Did I miss anything? Just want to make sure I was going into some of these positions. So let's go to the next part. As you know, this is the 1041. This is where we went over, if you've taken some of our courses, walkthroughs, this is where you would put all your information. If it's the biller, you would put their information down here. So for instance, the insurance company, XYZ Insurance. Then I put the total expense of the insurance would be 14,400. There we go. That's the basic part. And we tell people to file your taxes this way if you've had to clear your debts with just expenses. But this time we're talking about paying your bill. And I'm just going to go into illustrations that's exact and precise the way you do this. And the exact precise way is what I'm just showing is basically you're paying the bill ahead. You're not trying to pay it every month. So we're not telling you to sit here and just do multiple forms. We want you to do this times 12. So you pay them the total amount more than the bill. So if the bill says $1,200, who is it? That's my daughter or my son. Okay, if the bill says $1,200, you're going to do that number times 12 because you're going to pay it off for the whole year. So that adds up to $14,400. I would erase this right here since I know that's the answer. Then I would place that number at the top. So that number at the top would be the total amount that's going to go out. And this is the amount where it's coming in down here. And where is it coming into? It's coming into the XYZ insurance company. Now, in order for me to close this, I have to do this last part. I'm showing you all in real time how it looks. Now, do not put your social. So we're going to put not applicable. So for those who thought you put your social on this, you will not put your social. Nope. You would put your EIN because you're supposed to do this on the 1041 side. Right? So you're going to put your EIN on. And you're also going to put your EIN name. So that should be your revocable or your family trust name, whatever. Revocable. Let's just say, for instance, forget out of the revocable. Let's just say your family trust. Family trust. Then that'll eliminate a lot of the things of like, do I have to have the revocable? No, you can just have a family trust. Let's say you have a foreign 9-8. Let's say you have a foreign 9-8, which, I don't think you should put bills in your foreign 9-8 trust. That should just be a bank account. But, let's see if it works. 498 trust. Put that information there if you want to do that. Another one you can put is the other trust, the free one, right? We give you all the other trust that you give as an answer as the other trust. And there you go. There you have it. So that is the information you should put there. business name should be basically matching what's on that document. Then you put your numbers. Of course, you're going to do cash because that's what's going to pay out. And the answer is going to be no. All these answers are no. Just want to help you all go through those real quick. Oh no, it made me go all the way off.
You said I didn't. I'm on the phone, so I can't really see. Did you say cash? Uh, did that say
Yes.
cash?
Yeah,
Okay.
everything is cash. All right, we got to
And then
cash it out.
everything else is no.
Right, right. So now let's use my example since it erased me up. I got this mortgage, not mortgage. I have this realtor person tomorrow, this broker. So I'm gonna approach them in my family trust. Let's just say my family trust for me. I'm gonna use myself as an example now since it erased. I put Temple Family, and then I put the EIN number here. Just for illustration, I'll just put the 9999. All right. Address, I'll put my address. Because what's acquiring it is my family real estate office is acquiring the property instead of me. See, I don't want to acquire the property. I want my family office to acquire the real estate so they don't put me into the personal mortgage side. So this is very important that you all capture how I'm doing this. You don't want to do this on the personal side ever. All right, so putting that address there, I got Temple Family, that's the business name. We wanted to look a little good. I'll put it right here. There we go. So you see that, and you see the way I'm going to pay for the property is which way. I'm not going to do a accrual method. I don't want to wait every month to try to do this process, right? I don't want to do other because I don't know what other thing. I'm just going to do cash, right? This is the cash way. We want you to do F. So it's line F. If you all are looking at Schedule C, it's line F, or you can't see it and you're on the phone. Line F, accounting method is cash. On G, did you materially participate in the operation of the business? The answer is no. H, have you started acquiring this business during 2023? I don't check that box. I don't put anything. Did you make any payments in 2023 that require you? The answer is no. That's letter I and J. If yes, did you will file 1099? Answer is no. So I don't need to put any of that information there. That has nothing to do with anything. So part one, since I know the answers because I've mastered the software, I'm going to only go to line 6 on the part one because part one should deal with what I'm going to spend out. So for my illustration purpose, I think the house is going to cost, let's just say I spend out $350,000. That's how much I'm gonna basically see if I can spend that out because I may want to get additional things to do to the house, get furniture. I may have to get whatever else. See, we got to equate for that. Don't just get the house and you're like, okay, I got the house. So what else I need? Oh, you got to have utilities and you got to also have some furniture. So you do these processes, make sure you all count up the total cost of what you know that'll make sense for you. And that's fair. They call it fair market value. So 350,000, right? Then I go down here and let's say XYZ. I don't know who I did it on Zillow. Zillow. I don't know. Zillow wants me to pay them because it's their people that I got the deal from, but the broker is going to give me the final information. So let's say I put the total down here. I'm going to put $350,000. Then the line on the bottom, total expenses, 350. There we go. So that is the total way of looking at that if you're going to see this in real time. So I would finish out more stuff right here. All my investment is at risk. Then you have to add up all the lines down here, line 31, 27B, other expenses. Well, sorry, it's line 28.
32A is checked.
Yeah, all my investment is at risk because to me, I feel like all my investment is always at risk, at least to me. Some people may say some investment is not at risk. So I mean, it's a house. I mean, a house is always at risk to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you buy the house, now I got to be the HVAC guy. Now I have to be the plumber. I have to be the painter. I do all this stuff. I just put all this liability on myself, right? So I buy it with the business instead of buying it as personal side or individual. This is why everyone has to fill this out if you already bought the house in your name. And we said this is another level. This is doing this in real time. Like if you're gonna buy the house in real time with your trust.
If you've already bought the house, that's when you go over to the accrual side, right?
No, you're just going to the social side. So you're gonna be totally different the way I'm filling this out. You're gonna
Oh,
be on the
okay.
social side. And that's gonna be
Hmm.
a 1040 and not a 1041.
Okay.
All right. So does everybody see the difference? Once you're on the 1041 side, your job is to acquire assets. That is the mission. And you have to do it 100% with the 1041. All right. Anybody have any thoughts or questions on this part? To make sure I don't lose you all. Okay, so it's the same process if you're buying property from family. Absolutely correct. The same process. It's actually easier now because you keep it all business. It's family are the ones that you don't want to take it personally. And I hate to say it that way that we think it is, but it's always a business. It's family. It shows you mine. Business name, Temple Family. That's how we're looking at everything. So I hope that answers the question into that. If I were to sell property to my family, they would still, you know, it would be titled or guess whatever it's called a bill of sale. You would do a bill of sale for whatever the item is, if it's property, but if it's land or property, then I think it's a quick claim deed. Yeah, if it's a quick claim deed. Sometimes you can do trust deed, so you can create a trust within your quick claim deed.
It would be a purchase order. So it'd be a purchase order,
Right. Purchase
uh,
order. And
real
then
estate, hmm
yeah, you're right. So you
purchase
move
and
into that.
sell agreement.
Right. But you have to get those templates. You have to
Hmm.
title, you have to put those names on there yourself.
Hmm. Then after you write the contract, then um, you know, are you going to go to a closing agent? I'm thinking you're still going to do everything normal, right?
Right, right. I'm gonna get the
Get
red.
and get the insurance and all of that, right?
Right. I have to get, if I'm doing this now in 2024, I have to get the red forms from the IRS. It's the only way this will work. Right. I can't do it online. I can only do it in the past if it's online. But if I do it in the present, I have to do it with the IRS sending me the physical red forms. So I need to order these things now. I don't think I've got to 2024. If I do, I probably missed out. Okay. Let me see if I can. As I'm saying this, I want you all to see it in real time. This is how I think. If I'm like, okay, I got to move to this next, I don't have those forms, so I need to order forms.
So why is it that you have to use the red form versus uh like 1099online.com?
Because it's in the past. Online, they're not gonna give you the present online for some reason. It makes sense.
Okay.
That's my answer to it because I tried to do it online and they say you have to get the forms from them. Where do you get the forms from? I remember it says you're ordering order 1099 forms. Let me type that in. See if that pops up. Does that do it? Nope. I don't know. Maybe I was in the right place when it says order IRS forms. No, maybe I'm messing up. I just put an IRS. I just put I order forms. Let's see if that works. See if I click on this. They say recommended. So forms and publication by mail. It says order tax forms. Need to find product by telephone. Visit forms and instructions and publications. Online order and returns employers. Okay. Online ordering. All right. Quantity limits. Order tax forms. Publication A. That's not what I want. I wanted to get the, okay, so let's say I want to get the 1099B. Let's see if that pops up. Oh, what do you know? It's right here. Form 1099B. Let me get about 10 of those. And I need a 1096, I think, right?
Yeah.
There you go. 2024. Let's get 10 of those.
I'm in here. I can't find the daggone thing where you are.
That's what I was having problems myself. So
I'm on this where it says order tax forms and how to order, but and you put in 1099 and it came up.
yeah, it popped. I just clicked on the first one they recommended. I already got a
Oh,
zip
the
code and
form.
everything.
The first one that they recommended. Yeah, but that's not a 10. That one. Okay. Never mind.
Ah, it's done. Your order was successfully submitted and received. So I gotta wait for these forms to come in the mail. Once I get these forms in the mail, I'm ready to finish the closing of the purchase. Right? Now, I know this sounds astonishing and like, okay, how is this gonna work? Well, I'm telling you, this is what it is. This is how this is supposed to work. Like 2024 order forms for 1099s. So I had to keep record of me actually showing that I ordered the forms and they should come in soon. All right, so I finished this right here. This would be Zillow or the private broker closing. I don't know, closing. What do they use nowadays? They call those title companies. Title company.
Yeah. Hmm.
So what they do, they make you pay the title company and then they release it if it's a private owner.
Well, the title company is like your middle person, and
Right.
their job is to make sure that the buyer does what the buyer says that they're going to do, and then make sure that the seller does what the seller said that they would do. And once both parties do what they do, then they have what is called title insurance. And you buy title insurance to make sure that, you know, 5 years ago, they foreclosed on somebody and they showing up talking about this their house, right? So you get title insurance. And so in the event that there's any issues, then the title insurance company would fight on your behalf. So it's title insurance. And then, you close on all of that.
So
You
basically,
want,
they just have a private attorney that'll speak on your behalf. Seems like.
they will go to court too. I mean, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
It makes
Mhm.
sense. I was just trying to see how the name on the paperwork will look. So who am I paying? That will be my answer, right? Am I paying Zillow? Am I paying a private broker? Am I paying the title company? Who am I paying?
So, well, I mean, how is the check coming to you and then you're paying them?
I'm paying cash. Remember, that's what she keeps asking. She's saying, am I already do I have I been pre-qualified? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not going to do the pre-qualification because I am using my sole proprietor side.
Yeah, so if you so the buyer has the ability to choose whatever title company they wish to use. So you could go ahead and start establishing a relationship with a title company. That way, when you go and you write your contract, you can specify, I will be using, such and such title company, and
So
uh,
they're going to give me the owner's information, and that's what it seems like.
no, what I'm saying is,
Well, I mean, it's like I'm trying to say I'm still going to have to give the money and give the check, right? Write the check over to whoever it is because they're saying it's a cash deal. So I don't have a financing company. I'm not going to be giving the check over to a bank, right?
right. So it would be held in escrow at the title company. That's why you would choose your own title company.
Correct.
And
But
then the title company
oh,
would,
okay,
then release the funds to
the owner.
the person. Uh-huh. So
Got you.
you could
So
put the title company and then you can put the owners, like you know how you just did it. You said Zillow. It wouldn't be Zillow, you know. Uh it wouldn't be Zillow. It would be the title company and then in parentheses or quotations, Mr. and Mrs. Jones.
I
You see
understand.
what I'm saying? Hmm.
Got you. Got you. Yeah, that makes sense. And that would be whoever's the owners or whatever that is, Miss and Mrs. Jones.
Uh-huh. Hmm.
Okay, so I get it. So we got a comment in the, you make payment to the title company who distributes it.
Yes.
Right. So I'm saying whose name is on the check, right? So there is no check until it shows that I have the title company, is what you're saying. So I create the title company by making my title company show up. And
Yeah, so you could just go get a relationship. Just call around, down there where you are, and speak to a few title companies. Just see how you like their vibe. And you don't have to do anything else, other than to put their name on it. And then when you do write the contract, specify this is the title company that we will be using. You understand what I'm saying? Just
yeah,
pick
yeah,
one.
yeah. I got you. Yeah, you just I gotta
Mhm.
create my what you're saying is I need to create my real estate agreement too. That's what it sounds like too. So you're saying along with that, I need to have a
Yeah, you got to have a purchase order. But the problem with dealing with a realtor, typically, they're not even gonna. You're gonna have a better shot, you know, um, directly dealing with an
oh no, no,
owner.
no. We want to use the regular way because we want people to go in and not try to get around the realtor, right? The realtor can
Because
get
they're gonna
paid too.
want you to have earnest money.
No problem. We'll have the realtor get paid as well,
Yeah,
right?
but I'm just saying, I'm not going against it. I totally want to see this.
But you see
Um,
the point that
I understand.
we don't want to make the
Mm.
road bumpy because then
I'm
the
saying
real
with a realtor, you're going to make it bumpy
but
because
that's true.
they, you know what I'm saying? They don't have the mindset of doing anything. But if you have a broker, like the owner of the real estate company, you might have a better shot because they understand the 1099B possibly
Well, no,
to
it's a private broker. It's just if one is buying on Zillow, we want to keep it simple. So the realtor is going to pick it up first. And then once it gets to an interested buyer, the paperwork comes in. So however way that paperwork looks, the realtor's name is on there, they get their cut if they're saying
yeah,
they want a down payment. That's
Yeah,
what
I
you're saying.
understand what you're saying, but I'm just trying to tell you, it don't it won't work like that. They're not gonna um their expectation is you're gonna have to have, you know, 5,000 or whatever number for earnest money, you know, when you write the agreement. And then they're
Mm,
gonna want, you know,
right.
they're gonna want to see that you and some bank have some funds. You understand what I'm saying? They're not that smart.
No, no, I understand what you're saying. The earnest money is like a down payment. That's what you're saying. They want to
Mm.
see you have some type of down payment, which is no problem. So this is how they get paid, which is fine. What we're trying to, make sure we're saying is that the trust is going to pay who we're paying. Like, who are we paying? The owner, but you gave the answer. You said it's a title company, um, and
In
the
care
owners.
of, you know, the owner. You know
There
what
we
I'm
go.
saying?
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
The title company, and I like that better. In care
Mm-hmm.
of the owner. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is us navigating. This want everybody to see this. This is how it looks if you're gonna have to do this. So no, this isn't a simple situation where we're used to going at a house or real estate and you're not getting a mortgage this time. Right? It's like night and day. Like there is no mortgage. You're like you're saying, it's a purchase agreement. So they have these out here. I think they have some on Legal Depot or
Yeah,
Legal
you
Zoom.
can go inside of Staples,
Right,
you know, the
Staples, yeah,
office supply and buy one, you know, but guess what? If you're using a realtor, then they have their own purchase agreement.
exactly. And they
So you
want to
don't.
get that earnest money of what they want to give it. And that's fine. We want their agreement document. That's all I'm trying to say. Whatever document they write up, right? We can take that document and we can have it reviewed, and then we can guarantee funds through a letter. There's ways of getting letters. They call them letters of credit, right? So we can get
Mm-hmm.
a letter of credit if that's what they want to see. But if we don't have cash, fiat, we're probably not going to give them fiat if it breaks down like that.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Anybody have any thoughts to this? Because you may run into this part where you're going to think that no matter whatever these people say, man, these people want fiat. Does anybody may feel like that?
Yeah.
Anybody? I mean, anybody else have any hard questions on how this will look? Like it's you and the private broker for the new house, and all they have to do is agree to your documents, and you have the keys. Right? It's how it's supposed to go, and it's
I'm
fast.
thinking if you get a broker, if you some of those agents are actual brokers. And if you have a broker, you can always, you know, just like you're looking for your title company, you can look for your agent and ask, you know, have you ever worked with the 1099Bs? And you're
No, no,
talking to a broker,
we're not
you know.
showing them per se the B.
No, I got you. I
You see what I'm
understand.
saying?
Just
They don't see anything. This is going to the
no,
bank.
I understand what you're saying.
You know
I,
what I'm saying? Now the
yeah, I
broke.
got you. But I'm trying to show you something.
Okay,
The 1099B is what for brokers, right?
true,
So
true.
if you deal with a broker and you're telling him, you know, hey, you know, my trust is taking care of it. That type of person would have more of an understanding than a regular little agent. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because they would have already, you know, dealt with a 1099B before.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So they wouldn't expect you to put $5,000, $10,000 down.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas an agent just starting out has, you know, that's who worked for those companies, you know, Zillow, Redfin, you know what I'm saying? Those type of companies, you know, they're going to try to follow it to the to the letter. Is all I'm saying. But you know,
You must have worked with it before. You sound like you're
you know,
savvy with it.
you, you know, I've been a real estate investor since 2004.
Yeah, so you know their whole nitpicks. I got you.
Mhm.
I get it. I understand.
And when I'm looking for a deal, I don't go to an agent.
Hmm.
I go, I find the people who need to sell, not just want to sell. You understand what I'm saying? Talking about the owners of the property. So I have more control in that arena than dealing with an agent. Is you know.
True indeed. Yeah, it's like it's advertising and they get you all, you know, with the click buy, online. But
Mm-hmm.
that's what we want people to feel like you can do. Buy the house online, buy it with your trust with your phone. You see what I'm saying? So you're right. At the same time, we're gonna go ahead and if we're able to bypass this agent, we're just gonna go straight to the owners. But we're not going anywhere anyway where they're gonna get us to get a mortgage, right? So they're gonna probably try to talk us into getting pre-qualified and going back to the bank and all these different things. But we're gonna say no, this is a cash deal. You see?
I like your letter of credit theory.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, try that. But and when I say going to the owners directly, if the owner has a realtor, you really can't go to the owner directly. I mean, houses that, you know, people live out of state and the house is vacant, you know, um, landlord that's retiring, don't want to deal with tenants no more. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you understand what I'm saying? That's what I mean by going directly to the um the owner. But if they have their house listed with a realtor, you can't go to them. You can, but it's unethical.
Exactly, exactly. So it's already past due on that. The owner usually goes with the realtor, so we can't block the realtor anyway. It's not our job, but the owner trusts the realtor now. They gave it over to them. They trust they're gonna sell their house, and they trust they're not gonna, uh, you know, go around their realtor. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
if this realtor's in and they want to get this $10,000 extra, that's fine. We'll equate the $10,000 that they want extra on top of the deal, right? The 2% or the 5 to 10%. I don't know how much they want to get out of the percentage, right? So
So
it's fine.
you should add. So if you're trying to figure out like what your number should be, you should add an additional 10% to the purchase price to be able to cover um, your recording fees and the possibility of 6%,
Hmm.
to the agent. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right. That's what I did. That's why I said I placed more than the amount that, you would buy. You also need to put a little bit more for your furniture too.
hmm
So if you need a moving expense, what about how much that's going to cost if you're moving from out of state and you're buying another? See, all these things we got to start thinking like this isn't free. How much does it cost to move out of your house you're in now? You just bought a new house. You're gonna have to move into the new house.
hmm that's right.
Right? You box up all this stuff. How much does that cost? Got to get some boxes. You got to get the moving truck. You got to get some movers.
Then you got to take into account of, removing snow if you're in a snow area, for 6 months out of the year, uh, if you in a warm climate, you got to get the grass cut, you know, all
Mm-hmm.
of that. And then
There you
if you
go.
want to have somebody to clean your house, and you got to have your cleaning people, added. You're right.
There you go. So I'm just going into the realities, y'all. You got maintaining it now. Getting the house ain't the hard part. Keeping it is. That's what I'm at.
Wallace, can I ask a question real quick?
Sure thing, sir.
Um, Now what you're saying, with using the 1041 and the B, you're saying you're getting the return through those documents to yourself, and then you're taking the cash and then giving it to the real estate company and whoever's selling the home. Is that what you're saying? Or you're saying you're giving them a 1099B and then they're processing it on their end?
Oh no, I'm giving the B to the bank, right? So the bank can process it and give it to the title company. Remember, because we had to get through that hoop and hole because
Okay.
you
So
know what I mean?
you're having them all do that. You're not getting the return sent to you in cash and then
Right.
in cash
Correct.
that way you're using the 1099B through the bank to the title company.
Correct. It says it keeps the cash
Okay.
out of my hand. I don't need a
Gotcha.
check to come from the treasury. That makes sense, y'all. So I'm glad that's a great question. Like, how does this look? That's a great way of visualizing that because this isn't gonna look like I got the check first in my hand. I got the hot potato. It's gonna go into the bank's hand first. So now the bank is gonna get their credit. Then they can go ahead and issue the cashier's check to the title company, right? Because now they've got an agreement. Because this agreement is in place, this is going to create the money. See, I don't have any money, but the trust does. The trust is going to be able to create the credit.
Yeah. I get that the trust is actually paying it, but I'm trying to visualize the actual process of how the money movement is coming. So once we do the 1099B, and I'm assuming from what your example was the 1041, and then as the money is coming through the system, right? Is it coming back into your bank account and then you're moving the money, or is
No,
it going into the bank and then the bank is paying through like a check or wire or something to the title company?
no,
It
the
would
bank,
go directly to the title company.
yeah, exactly. The bank is just a, you know how you see like a money comes into an account like a deposit or something like that, or
Absolutely.
you know, or the bank shows that a check came in the mail to them and a deposit was shown upon your account. Um, it'll just show immediately paying out, like she was just about to say, maybe the purchase agreement.
Right. So the title company has what is called an escrow account. So they're like trustees. That's what they are, you know? So what he is talking about is sending it to the title company, so the funds are already there. He just, meet the seller on the day of closing and they just sign, but the funds have already been there.
Correct. That's what I want. Since you all gave me the title company clause, is that instead of me trying to get the funds ready for the owner, I get the funds ready for a title company. So then once the funds are transferred to a title company, like you're saying, I can just go out and shop. I have the power because, I can do whatever I have a title company. You see what I'm saying? And they have the
Yep.
funds. This is a great strategy for you all to look at this from the trust perspective. You know, the trust perspective is going to get us in the layer that's going to help us see how to maintain real estate and maintain land. As I'm doing it with a commercial building, as I'm saying, and I'm not going to go into that this week because that's going to go into a whole rabbit hole of time that I'm still not even able to fully complete yet because I'm still working on the commercial real estate. But that it by itself is how I was able to obtain this commercial real estate through these same strategies that I'm speaking of today. And I didn't have to even transfer actual credit through the bank. Sometimes the owner will allow certain respects of going directly through you if you're able to get directly to the owners with a purchase agreement. All right, so that includes family. So let's say a family is selling property. You can do a purchase agreement with your family for property and do a 1099B. That's right, and do a 1099B because it is a barter and exchange of property of exchange fair market value, right? You see, and this is purchase agreements are most often used in high value or larger transactions because they offer some protection to the buyer and seller. Common transactions that benefit from a purchase agreement include purchase of what? Real estate. Real estate. Number one. Next is business assets. Business assets, that's right. Vehicles. Valuable items. Jewelry. Artwork. Or guns. That's right. Or guns. I like that because they actually made it clear to us how this looks. And this is why your trust has to be the purchaser, not you, the trust, right? So this is how it looks where you know that it's going to work if you do it the way I'm saying. Now, if you're doing it, let's expand this because this looks like a really good example. Purchase agreement, hereby sell, assign, and transfer, blank. Oh no, they want me to do all that. I clicked on the thing. Let's just expand it and read it for now. Hereby selling is transferred to blank, the sale price. The transfer is effective as of blank. The property is now located at blank, and all of such properties in possession of. The purchase agreement shall be signed by blank on behalf of blank, and by blank on behalf of blank. The seller, buy, and the buyer, buy, date. Look how basic and simple these seller purchase agreements you are. This is right here. Hereby sell, assign, and transfer. You can write this up yourself. Yeah, I can copy and paste this on the Google Doc. But I like the way they wrote it, so I'll just download and pay it because it's fast, easy, and simple, right? Sometimes you just don't care about it. But this is just a quick example of you all just going through a walkthrough of me actually going and processing something and experimentation and experience in real time. So I'm actually experiencing this tomorrow, and I have an appointment around 9:30. And I will let you all know how that goes next week as I go into that information. I do plan to see how it looks, where the house is actually acceptable. So I'm not just going to go buy it just because, I just wanted to just test this out because I'm going to be stuck with this if I actually go follow through with this whole process. When I say stuck with it, I'll be having to manage and maintain this house if I do choose to buy it. So I hope this helps with anybody who had any type of seeing of what this leads you to. Like, why am I doing this trust? What is the revocable trust going to do to help me do? And so on. Any last thoughts, questions, or shares? We'll close out. We have about another 10 minutes, but I wanted to open the floor for anybody else. So I didn't want to overtake that last time and then give you all a chance to speak on anything for now. Okay, so we have no comments at this time. And thank you all for once again coming. But I'll just continue to speak on what I plan to do at least tomorrow as I think about what I'm speaking of right now. So of course, I do not have the red copies. So until I actually have the red copies from the IRS, I have to kind of stall out this situation because I won't be able to substantiate that I have funds within a certain amount of days because I don't even have the red copies. Now, once they send me the red copies, I then can, do this title company thing. So that's my strategy first is to get the red copies from the IRS, connect with the title company, get their information, put them as holders of, funding. And then from there, I go into the process of closing with an owner. So that right there is pretty powerful just for anybody to try to maneuver with your trust, And so we want everyone to try to, at most, at least not try it. We at least want you to practice with the trust and the real estate, because that's what I'm doing now. And the more you practice on the real estate, the easier it'll get. Um, I'll talk about next week the store. I didn't want to overwhelm you all with the store information because that's going to get into other information that's showing how to be e-commerce as well as running a convenience store. So I'll save that for next week as well. So I think that helps with anything that anybody has to try to test out with you dealing with the trust, dealing with your revocable trust. If you have the estate EIN, you have your family office trust, family trust, which is the name dash family, your last name dash family, or you have family house of your last name, family of your last name. These are different variables of your family trust. This is what you have to have first for your household. Your revocable trust is technically for you. It's for you and your soul, for you to protect yourself. So that is obviously number one that you need to do as well is revocable trust for you, for yourself. And then everyone that's over age 18 has to do their own revocable trust, even if you're a parent. So yes, you do your revocable trust, but your um, youth, your daughter or your son must do their own revocable trust if they're over age 18. So it's a lot of work. I'm telling you, I still am working with my daughter and my sons. I still don't have their stuff all the way together. Got to get minor accounts. I do have the minor accounts for all of my children or my youth or my beneficiaries right now. So I have them in the revocable trust as well as the family trust. I also have created multiple trust accounts through the bank. But the way I do it is through the DBAs. So I'll share that with you all is through the DBAs. But the DBAs are through the state. So whatever state that you're in, whatever bank that you want to do, you want to only do DBAs. My wife just did one the other day, and she did it in her married name. So if it's for a woman and you're married, you actually got to do a little bit more. If you're a woman that's single, you would just go back to your maiden name. That would be the easiest route to deal with a DBA for your name or for yourself is a maiden name. For the men, just stick with your name that you have on your social security card for your driver's license or ID, especially the ID, because the ID is the first thing that we get caught up in their system. So you want to be able to have that ID with the DBA in your state, because then once that DBA is activated, that's going to bring you to the business side. That's why they're going to stop messing with you in the cars. We'll get into the vehicles as well, how you're going to move the vehicle out of your name, and how you have your tag. It should not be in your name. It's a lot to talk about, yeah. I can talk for days or for hours, but I'm going to let you go because I have a time limit itself. And I thank you all for staying just a little bit more and continually keep doing. Oh, Staples has 1099 forms. Wow, that's perfect. So I can go buy them from Staples. I may be faster. You're right. I may be able to get this tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm just saying, because I know I've ordered mine from the IRS, well, at least the A and the C's, and they took months to send them to me. And I even went to the local IRS in my area and they were like, no, you could only order them online. So a way around it, I did notice that Staples do have them, like you can even plug it in online. But I'm not sure if they have the actual B copy. So you can check, but just if you were in a rush, that might be an option for you. So I
Yeah,
just wanted to put
I'm
that
gonna
out
make
there.
that part of my stop. So we'll go there. Then on the way, we'll stop at Staples and see if they're open at 9. Hopefully they open at 9, and then we'll go to the place for the realtor. We'll ask her for some type of amount. We need some type of if not the purchase, I think that's what they call the purchase agreement. Then you have the purchase order. So we'll ask them for a purchase order. I think that's the best way to look at that. Get some type of document from them. But thank you all. If you have any other thoughts, if you had to brainstorm this type of information, just like how I am, this is why we use these calls. Feel free to stay in tune throughout the week. If you're looking to connect with us through university technicians with your one-on-one tech support, or if you need to talk and I can talk with you um, as well. Thank you all for your time, and we'll connect next week. Peace, love, and prosperity.